One of the most powerful teachings of Jesus is about forgiveness. In Matthew 18:21-22, Peter asked Jesus, "Lord, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times?" Jesus answers, "I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times." This means that forgiveness should not be limited or counted, but should be a continual part of our lives. Jesus then tells the parable of the unforgiving servant. A king wanted to settle accounts with his servants. One servant owed him an enormous debt he could never repay. The king ordered that he, his family, and all he owned be sold to pay the debt. The servant begged for mercy, and the king, moved with compassion, forgave the entire debt. But that same servant went out and found a fellow servant who owed him a small amount. He grabbed him and demanded payment. When the fellow servant begged for patience, the first servant refused and had him thrown into prison. When the king heard what happened, he was angry and called the servant wicked. He said, "Shouldn't you have had mercy on your fellow servant, just as I had on you?" The king then handed him over to be punished until he could pay back all he owed. This teaching reminds us that God has forgiven us much, and we are called to forgive others in the same way. Holding on to anger and refusing to forgive only hurts us and separates us from God's love. True forgiveness brings healing, peace, and restores relationships. For more Bible stories, follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share.